Rick Yasayan with Let's Find Out. We're back again. It's been over a year with this COVID shutdown, and this is the first time we're back. Ready to give you a new presentation. We are located in Florida right now, in the southern end of Florida, and we're going to see about what is going on with mangoes here in Florida. So let's find out. Hello everyone. Don't forget, subscribe, like us, better yet, love us, and subscribe on YouTube and share this video with all of your friends.
So you guys can have some coconut cream, you have some all summer, sunrise is great, Kathy, juicy peach, pineapple pleasure right here, peach cobbler Angie, everyone's favorite Carrie, sweet tart Juliette, one of my favorite buttercream, more Kathy's, Maha Chinnook, 015, Pina Colada, fruit punch, and some super Julie.
Okay, we are at the Zill's. Help me out with the whole rest of the name.
Oh, well, that's the nursery Zill High Performance plants.
High Performance, okay.
Yeah.
And this is Gary Zill. And Gary, thank you for inviting us out here to take a look at the product that you're making. And they've got, this is a huge acreage here. I don't know how many have you got here. How many acres have you got right here?
Well, this is 18 acres, and we're just actually supposed to close either tomorrow or next week on another 7 acres adjoining
Another
us.
7 acres here. And then your brother also has...
he's got a few acres of mangoes as well, yeah.
And we'll be taking a look at that a little bit further into the program. So
right.
Wonderful. Now, we were just talking about something earlier that I think all of you might be real interested in, and that is, how does he find new varieties, or how do they determine which varieties to try out? And you told me something that just really surprised me. I hadn't heard it before with regard to mangoes, and you were talking about breaking off.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, what it is, first of all mangoes, if you have any kind of mango in a closed room that are ripe, the more the better, and you walk in the room and you get this just wonderful smell of mangoes. Yeah. That's what I call the plain vanilla flavor of mangoes. All of them will have a good flavor of mango. Some of the more mild, what I call mild flavored, like even a Hayden, a Kent, Glen. They're all good. They all have a little bit of differences. But then, especially with the Indian types, you run into some very, very interesting aromas and flavors. And those you can detect as soon as you pick the mango and smell the sap. It's very distinctive, and it gives you an idea what the mango is going to taste like when it gets ripe. And the interesting thing is, I actually heard about this a number of years ago. I think it was back in '85, at a mango symposium in Miami. The researchers there in Australia were talking about how they were able to select for the flavor of their favorite mango, which is the Kensington. And everybody in all the markets select it, and the only thing they select for is different seasons. But they all have a very distinct Southeast Asian aroma that's very distinctive to those types. And they were able to select that by just smelling the leaves of the really young plants. So I got the idea, hey, there's a lot of different types of flavors that are out there. Carrie and Julie have a real distinctive aroma. Bombay is very distinctive, they also call Pahari. And so I started selecting seedlings. I planted them out in real small containers, and when they were only about this tall, I started smelling the leaves of them. And I got a lot of seeds out of a lot of plants. I'd take off in the middle of the day, get the seeds planted, then as they were coming up, smell the leaves. And every year I did about 3,000 trees like that for about 3 years.
Oh my.
And
oh my.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a lot of work, but that was nothing compared to, out of those, I put about 1,000, a little more than 1,000 of them in the ground. And then the work started about 10 years later when they started fruiting, and then every afternoon I get off work and be out there pick about one of those 15-gallon buckets full every day.
Yeah.
And then bring it in the house, set it all over the counters. And I wasn't married at the time, or I probably could have done this. But, and then after I couldn't see anymore at night to pick the fruit, then I'd come in and cut as the ones that I picked green got ripe, or the ones that I found on the ground got ripe. Then I'd cut into them and taste them, and then made notes, and then decided which ones to keep and not.
Wow.
That was a lot. By the end of the summer, I was so tired of eating mangoes.
So in essence, one of the great things that I hope we all can learn from this is, you know, when you get a couple of mangoes together, try smelling it.
Well,
Smell it.
that
And
was
that's
what we were.
start.
This is
that
what,
was the start that you did, but all of us can learn from that.
well, the thing is that we were actually going to sample some of these mangoes now.
Well, I
and
think
talk
that's a great idea.
one of them. This is a mango we call Sunrise, and the sap has dried pretty well, so you can't tell till you cut into it. But if you smell this now, you get a distinctive
Oh, wow.
aroma.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're wanting to sample a new variety, the first thing you want to do is, it's like opening the cork of a glass of wine, and you can tell that most of your flavors are concentrated around the top.
Around the stem end.
Around the stem end,
Yeah.
and just under the skin. Now, if I'm wanting somebody to sample a mango, I like to cut it like this, and then leave the skin on, and eat it like you'd eat the leaf of an artichoke. Scrape it off with your teeth, and you'll notice right under the skin near the top is where the most concentrated flavor is.
And on the inside part. Or
Yeah, right, and just
Yeah.
exactly like you did.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm. And as you go further down, it's less concentrated. Now, I'm not sure. I want to taste this myself and see. This is a little on the green side.
Yeah, a little green, but not inedible at all. Delicious.
Well, it's all right. But if you look at it here, you know, the closer to the seed, you see a different color. Around here, it's more flavorful actually around here.
Yeah.
Than in here.
Yeah.
And there'll be more concentrated flavor up around the top. You get too close and you get into some of the sap that will burn your tongue. Now that's a Sunrise mango. Now this is a Karen Michelle. Now this is a seed of an Edward mango that reminds me a lot of an Edward, and it's part Southeast Asian in the background. And you'll notice now, that one, I didn't cut it at the top yet either. Whenever I want to. This one has a little stem end separation. It will affect the flavor. And
oh my, I get a coconut flavor with
Right,
this, or
right.
smell to it.
And again, you'll notice if you get too close to the skin on this one, it doesn't taste the same.
Yeah. Very coconut flavor up here. Not so much down here.
The
Wow.
Southeast Asian ones, this is a hybrid and it's not quite so distinct. But the ones like, well, you'd be familiar with the Philippine or of some of the selections that I've made, Kathy or K3. I believe this is a buttercream here. This
is buttercream?
No, that they're eating is a Karen Michelle.
Karen Michelle.
Yeah, this is one of the more,
Wow.
how should I say, it's not a real distinctive any type of flavor, maybe coconut. This is an Alfonso mango. I found it on the ground. This year they've been fairly good. And you can taste
Oh,
it.
look at the
as
color
well.
difference.
But again,
Quite
yeah,
dark.
this will be much better. It hasn't ripened evenly. You can see that it's got more color, darker next to the seed, but won't taste as good right next to the seed. But right under the skin, it has a very distinctive flavor. This is a little. None of these are as good.
Little tart.
Well, again, it's a little
Yeah.
on the green side. I
Yeah.
didn't have any real ripe ones to let you taste.
Yeah.
But you'll notice up around the top, and just under the skin here, there's a lot more concentrated flavor than at the bottom. And some varieties, this is more like not so much sampling the mangoes as me showing you how I like to sample. Now, I believe there's so many different mangoes that look like this. I'm not sure what this is. We may be able to tell when we cut into it. I'll let you taste it. This was again, real soft around the seed. Let me taste this and see what it is.
Nice texture to this one. Really nice.
It definitely wasn't buttercream though. I'm gonna have to see. I should run around in the golf cart and see if I can get a few more fruit.
Kind of a
let
nutty
you
flavor
taste.
to it. I don't know what that is, but
I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find some more mangoes to taste.
no,
because
this is
somebody
look at this.
somebody ran off with my golf cart. Oh yeah.
How about a few jackfruit? Oh my goodness.
There's not much to say about jackfruit as far as I'm concerned. They're a big fruit that's a pain to open, and if you get them clean, they're pretty good. They're a lot more cold hardy than I used to think so. I gotta find another golf cart.
This is a type of ginger.
Yeah, it's just a flowering ginger. I think you can eat the flowers of this. I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they use it as soap.
Suriname cherry?
No, that's carambola.
Well, there's
That's-
a certain
oh, carambola?
They're both.
Okay,
It's
okay.
kind of.
Yep.
We need to thin that thing
The
out
leaves.
some. Yeah. This is that was a pineapple pleasure on the ground.
Chico Sapote?
Yes.
Sapodillo?
Yeah, we have a collection of those. We have one we call butterscotch. That's nothing like
Yeah.
it. We have a waiting list for those too. It's quite large and no grit in it at all. And
Are those fruity right now?
no, I don't have any fruit on it.
I finally convinced my sister she had to have one.
Yeah.
And it
Stop it for a second. He's getting his workout. Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know anybody was walking. Okay. All right.
Ty's young enough.
we're good.
Okay. See, I have planted along the edge of the nursery some mango trees. We'll see if we can find something here. This is where we grow 3-gallon trees and have overhead irrigation. Mostly it's mangoes, but if you look carefully, you'll see there's a lot of empty space. These are edamoyas that we're going to be cutting budwood off of those. That's why there's edamoyas. I've tried cherimoyas here, and they can't tolerate the
don't.
humidity.
Yeah.
The one thing we can grow that you can't.
Yeah, we can
Oh,
grow
yeah.
those.
Well, they're the only other fruit that I think compares well with the flavor of a mango.
Gary, what do we have over here?
Those are Mame Sapote, and this is Abiu. These are grafted trees that were shipped in from my nursery in Costa Rica. And we've been working on that for quite a while.
Do you have avenues on site?
No.
Couple years off.
Yeah, these are some of our seedlings we're starting to graft. These are all just seedling Marañón. I get the words mixed up. I speak a lot of Spanish too. Cashew. This is where we start out most of our seedlings. We've got right now about 110,000, well, a little more than that, mango seedlings coming up. Some of them are grafted. Rooting cuttings. Again, you can see this.
Is that nutmeg on the side? The vine with the red berry?
No, that is a native passiflora.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And over here we have our, this is our destination right now. This is a row of mango trees that we're going to see if we can find some fruit on the ground and let you all taste. This is the Kathy. The row and tree number was K3, and for some reason we decided to call it Kathy rather than K3. Trying to find one that's ripe that the animals haven't gotten into. This one squirrel bit into, but it'll probably, you see it's even a little green on the top. Best of the Southeast Asian types that I selected. And if we smell it here at the top, it smells more ripe than it smells, has a distinctive aroma, but you'll get it when you taste. Now the Southeast Asian ones have more of a bitter taste under the skin. Careful, I had a bad spot there. I'm not sure what that was. So you can see it has a
It's got a ending note that I tasted that before, but it's a different flavor to it. Almost
Anybody else want to taste
a
it?
sweet pine. Yeah, you asked the right question.
You don't have to ask that twice.
That's why we're here.
This is the K3.
Thank you.
Something had got. Now, this is something else interesting. Every fruit has a little different anatomy.
Yeah.
This is the very bottom end of the fruit where there's less movement of calcium through the fruit, and shortages of calcium can cause lots of problems with the internal breakdown of
Kind of the
fruit.
hard spots that you occasionally
Usually
find.
it's soft around the seed, and especially at the very bottom, or in this case it's at the very blossom part. This is where the blossom actually has a very terminal part. Also where the seeds are coming out. We call it juicy peach, and you'll
Juicy
see
peach. Okay.
when we cut into it, it's quite watery. Ooh, this is too soft around the seed. Now I don't know if that's because, see, when I run into this,
Got a
oh, yeah, as long as he doesn't bite.
biting ants.
Another distinct flavor.
Yeah, a little watery.
That's why we call it juicy peach. And coming on down. Oh, another thing that's interesting I forgot to mention. The fibrous on the seed, there'll be one side of a seed that is pretty firm, and the other side is where the root starts to come out. And that side always will be much more fibrous than any other part.
Huh.
So if you're sampling mangoes and you give people a piece of this side of the mango, they'll say, oh, it's fibrous. But it's the only part of the fruit that'll be that way. It's an Angie. Has a distinct flavor.
What identifies it to you as an Angie as opposed to something else? I mean, I know you know because you've planted it and you've
And
come
it's got
up,
a label
but I
on
mean,
it.
by observation, what are the things you look for
Well,
in determining, you know?
yeah, if you look at the foliage on this one compared to that one, they all have a different growth habit, a little bit different foliage shape, a little different intensity in color. And I used to be able to identify everything we grew, but we keep an inventory of about 40 different varieties here.
That's a lot.
And some of them are very, very similar, hard to tell apart. Now, one of the lady that works for us, her name's Juana. She's unbelievable. She can identify them all in the 3-gallon pot by looking at the foliage.
Wow.
Because this is something she does every day. She can tell you every single variety we have, how many we have in 3, 7, 15 gallon, 30, 25 gallon, 30 gallon, how many we have of every single variety. I don't know how she's able to do it. She speaks 3 languages.
Huh.
The Angie, I think you'll notice it has a pretty distinctive flavor.
Angie.
Right now, this is a selection that Bill Whitman named. He named it after his wife.
That's the smell when I think of mango.
Now,
That's like jelly. on the inside.
Again, these are all a little on the tart side. They're a little green. This has a, well,
So even when they fall off the tree, they're still green. They're not necessarily.
and then, they're not. And it's interesting, some varieties, now this is a little empty spot in there. That's usually where a stink bug has stung them. Or sometimes there'll be other scars. And on this side, that's where it fell. But let's go on down and look at some others.
Those are big ants.
Yeah, these guys really can sting too. I like to taste it first just to make sure it's representative of. A little overripe, you can taste it. This is Pina Colada. And I want to see if I can find a better one.
Oh my. Oh, that's good. Pina Colada. Oh my. Oh. A little rum and we'd have a deal here. Oh my.
I think this is a little better example. It's a little greener. You can try this one. Again, you can see it's kind of soft around the seed. If I've got enough of them, I don't particularly care for that part. I'll peel them a little bit closer to the skin.
Mm-hmm.
Taste that. This one's a little greener, a little bit tart. You can decide how you like it. All different flavors.
All different flavors.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, these two are both Pina Colada. And you can tell, this is another thing that's really important about mangoes, is that the flavors can taste an awful lot depending on whether you eat them one day or the next day. Because tomorrow, this one would taste more like that one. I wanted you to taste, this is a mango from, this is Maha Chinnook, but this is not ready. Maha Chinnook. And these aren't particularly good green either, so we'll leave that. I would like to get a hold of some of the mangoes that eat green. Now this is Venus. Anything on the ground there will not be any good. There's this little later variety. This is one we call, I call Juliette. And I don't know if these are really ready or not. We'll check and see. It reminds me, let me taste this. Taste it and tell me what you think. I've eaten better ones. So
The name again?
Juliette.
Juliette.
Juliette. See, there's a mango called
Oh
Julie.
my.
There's
That's
a mango,
soft.
Yeah, there's a mango called Julie, which is the most popular mango in all the Caribbean. And it is
Sweet, soft.
this flavor of this reminds me a lot of it. And the reason I call it Juliette, the diminutive in that term isn't necessarily good because it's much more vigorous than the Julie mango, which is, at times, even in Florida, people have a hard time growing them. Just fell off the tree. You can see it's going to have a big bruise spot on that side, so we'll cut in it. We'll cut around that bruise spot and let you taste this. It probably will taste better than that other one. Maybe not. That's where I wanted to go. I want to go all the way along.
It's just hilarious. Like you're in such abundance that, like, yeah, you could slice off just the cream of the crop of the fruit, and like it's just.
Well, yeah, I mean, Again, most of these trees I planted them to get budwood from.
Right.
And yeah, I think this one's a little bit, you're right. This is in Jamaica they call it Bombay. In India they call it Pahari.
The which?
Pahari.
Pahari.
But we call it, we label them Bombay because we used to have more Jamaicans here than we had people from India, but nowadays, this is a fairly good example of a Bombay.
That's a very different.
And what everybody in California,
very unusual.
what everybody in California gets used to, Tommy Atkins. Worst mango in my opinion, just because of the...
I wouldn't bother bringing one in the house.
I wouldn't bother,
but
yeah.
This mango, the flavor of this particular mango is the origin of the flavor of the Jakarta and the Sunrise and...
Let me do one more little piece there.
Now, if you notice, I'm cutting this near this side of the seed, and you can even hear cutting through the fiber. Okay?
Yeah,
Gary,
a little.
It's the only fibrous part of the mango.
The interesting thing is this side tasted very different to this
Yeah,
side.
exactly. The top of the fruit, here. Got a little dirt here. Taste a piece from the top. And taste a piece from the bottom.
Yeah, this one has more of that
Everything.
aroma.
Yeah. Well, you can see this is the stem end. Everything from the seed, from the foliage of the plant that's making everything that goes in it is coming down, and it gets diluted, and a whole lot more of it stays at the top.
So more flavorful near the stem.
Near the stem, and
Less so at
near
the
the
bottom.
skin. And near the skin. Yeah.
And less so at the bottom.
Right. That's why I say when somebody has a sampling and they take a bunch of mangoes and they cut them up in little pieces and put them in a container. First of all, I don't think when you cut up mangoes in pieces and leave them even in a refrigerator for more than a few hours, you're already starting to lose the flavor. So you start cutting up mangoes the night before where you're going to have a tasting.
Right. Too late.
You know, it's all right, but this is really the way to taste mangoes. Is to cut into them as you're going to eat them. And in fact, the only way I like to eat mangoes is any kind of recipe other than like this, is either slice them up on ice cream, slice them up on your cereal, or slice them up on a piece of toast with coconut oil, and use coconut oil instead of butter, and slice a little mango on top. Cooking and freezing mangoes really destroys a lot of the flavor. And again, it's because so much of the stuff is aromatic. In fact, if I was going to freeze mangoes, I just put the whole mango in the freezer. I don't usually do that. But again, if you leave the skin on, you can preserve some of the flavor. And then you take it out, and as it thaws out, you scrape it off and eat it like sherbet or something. It's pretty good. But that's the only way I
I'm
like
gonna have to try
preserve
that.
them.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Can I ask you a couple questions?
Of course.
What tree or what species of tree would you love to grow that you just haven't had very much luck with? Like,
The only other fruit tree that I think compares to mango is a cherimoya, the Anonas. We can grow good Adamoyas here. I mean, a really good cherimoya and a really good Adamoya are pretty close, although I won't argue with the fact that the cherimoya is the queen of the Anonas. Apart from that, what else beside mangoes?
You're not a durian fan by the sound of things.
Actually, I like durian. And I've got some fruiting trees on my place in Costa Rica. I've got mangosteen, pretty much everything, rambutan, all that.
Yeah.
But still, I think I'd rather have 3 or 4 different varieties of mangoes that I've got before I'd even start adding another variety of anything. But that's because I'm so partial to mangoes.
Yeah.
Let's see, of the other tropical fruit,
That's it.
I mean, lychees and lungans are a good fruit. This is definitely not fully mature. not much of a crop on this tree either. I could cut into this, but I don't know if anybody wants the rest of this. Did you? This is. Did you get a? Did you get a taste of the Bombay mango? Yeah. There you go. This is one of the more
Rob's
unusual,
not tasted any, so
again now the Jakarta and Sunrise, which was one we cut into earlier, and you said it had a distinct flavor. It was the parent of the Jakarta. It was a cross between a Kent and a Bombay. See, it's another thing about mangoes.
yeah.
You got to eat them at the right time. You leave them sitting around too long, and you might as well throw them away. They get. This is Valencia Pride. There might be one here that we could taste. It has an unusual flavor. This looks like, even though on this side is bad.
Oh, that guy's nope.
This might. Ooh, no. Well, see these little dark streaks on it here? That's usually a sign that for some reason or the other it came off the tree too soon. We can taste it and see.
This one's probably a little overdone. Pretty soft. It might.
This will give you an idea of what the taste is like on the Valencia Pride. It's a little very, very fast-growing tree. There's a few ripe fruit up there.
Yeah, these grow in California.
Yeah, very probably good recommended because it's so vigorous, and out there with your colder weather, it probably slows everything
That's
down.
pretty.
The last thing you're interested in
overripe.
is a dwarf tree.
Gary, do you have any of the Kensington Pride here? You know, the Bowen?
Yeah, no, I don't have a tree. I have a tree at my house, but I don't have one here at the nursery. Everybody wants some of these new varieties that are more exotic flavored, which.
With names like Sugarloaf and Coconut Cream, how can you argue?
Yeah, well, we'll cut into this. So they're not really knocking any of these varieties. This is one called Bailey's Marble. It was selected by a nurseryman on the east coast of Florida named Bob Murray, and that's the only place that it's really well known. It's a good mango. If you like the Hayden mango, if you like the more what I call plain vanilla, there's nothing wrong with it. People, vanilla ice cream is still the. In fact, the people that
Number
sample
one.
mangoes for commercial market still go for the more plain flavored mangoes. But as people become more educated about mangoes, there's a lot more interest in the more spicy. I don't know how you can describe the different flavors of the different mangoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is why I say like the Bombay and the Pahari. Well, it's the same mango. Bombay, Pahari is going to have a similar mango in the Sunrise and the Jakarta. There are not many mangoes that have that flavor. In fact, when I was in Israel a number of years ago, I had access to their entire seedling plantings, which was thousands of trees. And they gave me the map. And I walked through a row. It must have had 100 trees or so of seed from the same Pahari or Bombay. And only about 1 out of 20 or fewer had that particular aroma to it. Most of the others were sort of like this one. They were good, but they didn't have that zing to them, you might say.
Gary, is that an Irwin at the end?
Yes.
Gary, I got to ask, while you're cutting through this one, what got you started in doing this?
Oh, it's my father.
He was what? What are you're handing me?
Yeah,
that?
just keep it. We've already tasted that. We got a lot more to taste. My father started the nursery business. No, that's my brother. My father, Lawrence. He started the nursery business. It's a kind of an interesting story. My grandmother had a mango tree in her backyard. It was a turpentine.
Here in Florida.
Yeah, here in Florida. It was a turpentine mango. This is another Alfonso. These two are Alfonso. We'll cut into a few of these. And it was a little turpentine tree, and there was a man from Germany. He came over and top worked the tree. He cut the top back. Anyway, he grafted the tree and changed it into a Hayden. And my father, he told me, he said he was so fascinated by the fact you could take this stringy little mango that wasn't much to be excited about and change it into a Hayden, that he started experimenting with grafting trees. And he got better and better at producing them in quantities, and eventually went into the nursery business full time. And by the time, as far back as I can remember, I grew up in the middle of a mango grove. And believe me, my father taught me a lot about the nursery business, and taught me you better get up in the morning to work when it was mango season. So I don't know, my wife probably thinks I'm a real workaholic now, but I really do enjoy the business, and I like working with the people. They're all interesting.
Yeah.
And I speak enough Spanish to joke around with them, and of course when I'm in Costa Rica, that's always nice.
This is India's
But-
most popular, I think.
Alfonso,
It's one of the most. There's a couple of well-known ones, Alfonso and Quesar too, that I know of. Come to
Never
mind
tried
right now.
Quesar, but Alfonso is one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Alfonso, I don't know how it does in California. Here,
Good.
here, this is the biggest crop I've seen on these Alfonso in years. Sometimes I'll have one or two fruit. I had a tree that had a trunk this big around when I cut it down at my house, because usually if I got 2 or 3 fruit on it, it was a good crop. And they're not nearly as good here, usually, as they are in India where they're grown.
Yeah.
It's a much better mango to eat over there.
Have you been over there?
Yeah, yeah. It was quite an interesting trip. I've made a
I'll
couple of
bet.
trips to India.
I'll bet.
It's
Yeah.
an interesting place, that's for sure.
I'd go back again tomorrow if I had time. I'd say
That's one place I've not been.
You gotta pick your places, though.
Gary, what would you say the besides the United States, which country would be the best to visit if you're a mangoholic like we are?
India or Thailand. You get a whole different flavors of mangoes in Southeast Asia, but you will find much more, I think, much more variety in India. But maybe that's just my taste. Although the Southeast Asian types, Vietnam, Thailand, they eat a lot of mangoes green.
Yeah. And cook
Probably
with
the
them.
majority of them
Yeah.
are eaten green.
Yeah.
And some of those mangoes green are really, really good. In fact, I eat my share of green mangoes. So unfortunately, I don't think we've got any of those varieties here. I think I have all of them.
Now you've
at
got
my
this
house.
variety right here is purple.
Yeah, that's Irwin.
That's the Irwin.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't care for it.
Is there one? Is there one called a Frederick?
Probably there's, every time you plant a mango seed,
Yeah, you get
you get a new
a
variety.
new variety.
Yeah. This is, these are falling on the ground. The employees here take all they want home. You can taste this. This is the Irwin. Very productive, but to me it's
Lighter yellow color.
yeah. And
Is this underripe? Because don't they turn purple when they're ripe? No?
I mean, if this is the only mango you have in your yard, you'll eat it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, to me, fairly.
The only bad mango is the one you don't have.
Yeah.
Oh, here you can. Here, we'll get you another
Pride
one.
and-
Again, just hang on to this for a second.
Oops.
Okay, this is the Irwin.
Irwin again.
Irwin again. I want you to taste it, and then taste again one of these Bombay. Another thing about tasting mangoes. All right, we're gonna keep these two together. Here's Oh, this is a.
Something else. What a beautiful mango.
Now again, Bailey's Marble doesn't have any of those real exotic aromas.
Yeah,
to
this
it.
is a plain.
Yeah, but now this is again the Irwin, and taste it after you ate the Bailey's Marble.
Whoa. Much more distinct. Just, yeah.
Well, to me, if you want to sample mangoes, you got to go back because usually the first one you taste is one that hits you with a lot of flavor, and then you taste some others, and then some others. You go back to the first one, it's not necessarily as exciting. So if you're sampling mangoes to decide which one you really like, it's better
All
to
of them.
sample quite a few.
I like all of them.
Well,
I have a hard time
see if I can
not
find one of these
liking
Bombay here
mangoes.
that's not overripe.
unless
Those have
it's
been
in
falling.
Tommy Atkins.
Well,
What is the background on Tommy Atkins? I mean, what
they
the
think
heck?
it's a cross between a Hayden and a Turpentine.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. No, they really do. They really do. I don't know if we're going to find much more interesting here, but we can keep walking. I do want to show you some other stuff here. This is Van Dyke. This is Tommy here. You can see it's real productive, real pretty. We won't bother cutting into it. These are Kit. Real productive, late mango. Pretty good at it's still one of the.
This is which? This one?
This is Kit.
This is Kit.
You see how productive this guy
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. And those are good. I like Kit.
Yeah, it's a good mango.
Yeah.
It's a good mango.
I mean,
Another-
when, you know, we get them in every couple of weeks, the mangoes change.
Here we go. I was hoping I could find one of these.
What do you got?
Smell the skin. This is right now the most popular. No, it's only the top half is going to be any good. We'll cut around as he's bruised so easily. This is the most popular mango right
Oh
now
my God.
for the Indian people. They come in and all they want to buy is
And
Kerry
again, the
mangoes to
name?
eat.
Kerry. This is the Kerry.
This is Kerry, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's named after my grandmother.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And Gary, where's the Gary mango?
I don't have one here.
It's coming.
Well, I have a couple of trees at my house, but we don't propagate a lot of them. It's not very productive. And it's real small. And we grow what? We sell, this one's a little bit on the green side. I don't think it'll be
Said Juliette.
Julie.
Oh, Julie.
Yeah.
And there's a
And-
super Julie too, right?
Yeah. Not too bad. It's a little ripe. A little on the ripe side. A little too ripe, maybe. And this one, if it ripens on the tree, you got to eat it right away because if you don't, it gets a real. This tree. This is actually a seedling that came up. And it's probably a Kerry seedling. But these smaller trees here are the same age, some of them younger than these bigger trees behind them. These are all Kerry mangoes, and they're all grafted on a dwarfing rootstock.
Wow.
And, we have a limited number of these available. I've been experimenting with dwarfing rootstocks for mangoes for quite a while. And I can only say it's been very frustrating and takes forever. You see variation. These should have been staked up. The fruit on these are very good. Marcellus says he thinks they're a little bit better. I don't know about that, but they are.
But how nice for a small yard, you know,
Yes.
where they can't maybe.
Yeah. Now, I don't think it's going to be anything people in California are going to be interested in
Yeah.
because I think you want the other extreme. But
Well, there's people and there's people. You know, this is neat. What a treat. What an absolute treat.
now, some of these here are new varieties, and I am puzzled by the names of some of these as well. This is an interesting one here. This is a species from Borneo
Borneo.
called Lila
Oh.
Jawa.
The
Run that by again.
Lila Jawa, or however you
Lila
want to
Jawa.
pronounce it. I can't get excited about it, but it's different. I'll give it that.
And it's ripe when it's green?
Well,
Not quite.
you can judge yourself what you think of it. It's okay. It's a very interesting flavor. It's one of the few of the ones from Borneo that I would bother to eat.
Huh.
But yeah,
Well, if I were a primate and my choice was a green one, I would eat that.
oh yeah, it's not bad. And the thing about this is one that's adapted to a lot of rain. You can grow this in some tropical areas.
Uh-huh.
I've seen it do fairly well in Costa Rica. Flowers hang on and not be too decayed in the rainy season down there, which is saying a lot. When I was there once with Richard Campbell, we got some of these different species, and in his room, he kept them in his room, and some of them he had to put outside the window because it was burning his nose.
Wow.
I mean, there's some very unusual species of mangoes over
Whoa.
there, and as far as I'm concerned, you can have them all. I'll stick with Indica, and that's it. Because there's some very good varieties that are quite resistant to interact nuts.
Let me give John a little chunk of
Okay,
that.
now this will be from the stringy side. So
And it's from Borneo, the name again,
Lila Jawa.
Lila Jawa.
I'm not sure I'm pronouncing
Lila
it.
Jawa from Borneo, and they're green.
This is orange essence. They aren't ready yet. There's this is the tree I wanted to look at. Maybe.
Boy, that's almost plum-like.
Yeah, that's a late bloom
Yeah.
of. Well, this is the one we call Super Alfonso, 36.8. This is one of, I think, one of my best selections.
Hmm.
If you like Indian mangoes, you really, really like this mango. Unfortunately, they're not quite ready to pick. This is the sap coming out of the green mango. Now, this mango won't be any good to eat, but smell.
Yeah.
Pass it around.
When you were doing the scratch test just now on those two up there, what were you looking for, Gary?
Well, I had a little piece of scale on that one. I was looking for lenticels because once you start to see those on this particular variety, and in fact on any mango, once you start to see a little cracking on the skins, they're usually ready to pick. This is scale insects on the fruit itself. But anyway, this is one of those strong aromas that you'll only find in the Indian type mangoes, and this one has a very distinct flavor that is a lot like that Alfonso, only I think it's an improvement
Gary,
in a
if
lot
you
of ways.
crush the leaves, do you get that sort of smell?
Not unless the leaves are from a really young tree.
Young tree.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a
You can
resinous smell.
you can get a little bit of that from the petiole, but it's very, very, very hard to get. I don't know if any of these will have. This has got those lenticels on it that show that it may have been ready to pick when it got blown off by the wind or something. Nobody's been picking these. We'll cut into it and see what it tastes like. I think it's a little bit green, I can tell you that. Yeah, hasn't been on the tree quite as long as it should, but you can taste it.
This is Super Alfonso.
Yeah. These guys here, give them another couple of weeks and they'll be I don't think you're going to be real impressed.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, the aroma's there, but the tree, the fruit. We shouldn't be judging it. I'm just
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to let you see that it's got some color to it. Pick it, mature, and it can take anywhere from a week to 2 weeks to ripen at room temperature. And it still tastes very good. This is another one of those Karen Michelle. You tasted one of these at the very first time we tasted them. The first part of the thing.
I'm gonna give that to.
There we go.
Hey, Gary, just under the skin, you get that aroma that you.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Here we go. This is a Karen Michelle.
That's delicious here.
Yeah, unbelievable. So chalk and cheese between.
Oh yeah, there's totally lots of differences in the flavors. Here we go. Let's see what this one's like. Let me cut into this. Let me take this out. This is one they call fruit cocktail. Let me sample it first. I won't let you taste it if it's not good. I'll let you taste it.
Thank you.
I think this one was grown in the shade. After you tasted mangoes for this long, they all begin to start kind of, not exactly taste the same, but this one we call fruit cocktail.
Early season.
I like the firmness on this.
Yeah. It has a couple of other characteristics, probably not that important in California. It's very clean, pretty resistant to anthracnose. A little bit more compact growing than some of the others. This isn't the best example of the flavor of it, but it's all right. I see another one here. I want to see what it's like. I don't know if anybody else wants to taste this.
Now you've got. I'll pass it around. Okay. Who's next? No, I am. We're both there.
These aren't ripe. This is one I call Lil Gem, just because it's small and yet a very good mango. Believe it or not, this is a seed of a kit. It's a quite a late mango. It gets that from the kit. It gets the color from the kit, but it gets a flavor, I believe, could be from a Julie. I'm not sure, but it has that distinctive aroma. You'll see it's a little bit like that one. Well, the only ones we really picked and noticed the sap on.
That's the
It's a very
background
strong
flavor.
Indian type aroma.
Yeah.
And it makes a compact tree. In fact, on the right rootstock, it gets pretty dwarf. Well, if we get our capacity big enough, we may start shipping 1 gallon trees into California. That's the only size I really want to have to deal with, because the quarantine restrictions are so
Right,
so difficult. Let me look and see if there's I see a ripe one up in the trunk.
Holy moly.
Yeah, almost everything we just take.
Oh, what is that?
I think you'll find this quite interesting.
Is this the lemon meringue?
Yeah.
Or the coconut cream? Or
Oh yeah, gotta have lemon meringue.
Ah. Citrus.
You can take any of those you want on the ground there. Take them back with you. It's a very unusual mango, and I've crossed it. Well, I don't know what. I'll cross it with anything. I planted out a few seeds of it, Actually, quite a few seeds. But
That's candy-like.
I have a hybrid.
Yeah.
A couple of hybrids. One is lemon zest,
Yeah.
which is much bigger and a very, very good flavored mango, but it's quite susceptible to the bacterial white spot. I have another one we call orange sherbet, which is bigger, a little more compact tree, quite productive.
Is that related to orange essence?
Well, I don't know for sure where that orange essence got its that orangey flavor from, possibly, but it doesn't look quite like that. It might be, but the orange sherbet is definitely very similar to lemon meringue, only bigger and what can I say? It has a similar flavor. It's a bigger fruit, and I think it's got some improvements over basically size and production. This is a little bit small, this particular mango. This mango originally is a mango grown commercially, or at least well known, in Myanmar, in Burma. And it's interesting, there's another lemony flavored mango from Lucknow, which is in the northern part of India. And I'm curious, I'm thinking that the different regions of India and that area have different flavors, I'm sure, different flavors of mangoes that originate in different places. And it's just kind of an interesting thing to realize that this lemony flavor there may be other mangoes with that flavor in that northeastern part of India.
Well, let me tell you, you know, thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the depths of my tummy. This has been wonderful today, Gary. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I actually, that was something I've always been wanting to do, would be to do a video that explained a little bit more about the importance of how to taste a mango, how to sample a mango.
Gary, thank you. Again, thank
well,
you
you're
so
welcome.
much. Thank
And
you.
it's been, y'all have been very, very appreciative and interesting to like to taste all these things. So.
Put a picture with the two of you.
It would be
Bingo.
good.
You bet.
All right, here we go. Can I get the team in there with you too?
Sure, sure.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.